Hi students, welcome back to another video session related to data structures. So this is the second BSc Computer Science 4th semester paper. This is Lakshman from BR and GK Chalmers Degree College, Palakollu. Now we are discussing about what is the difference between linear and non-linear data structures. In the previous section we already discussed about what is data structure and the types of data structures. That means primitive and non-primitive data structures. Primitive data structures having only one value, but whereas if you are storing more number of data, multiple data, we are using non-primitive data structures. So that is linear and non-linear data structures. So in this session we are discussing about difference between linear and non-linear and arrays concept. So what is the difference between linear and non-linear data structure? So linear means, already you know, linear means we are storing the data in a linear form, that is sequential form. So this is the linear form. Array is the linear data structure or sequential data structures. We are storing the values within this memory locations. So contiguous block of memory we can store the data, that is called linear. What is non-linear means, we are not storing the data in a sequential order. It has some relationship we are maintaining to connect the data by using non-linear data structure. So the main difference between a linear and a non-linear data structure lie in the way they organize data elements. In linear data structure, data elements are organized sequentially and therefore they are easy to implement in the computer's memory. So linear data structures can be easily implemented, but whereas non-linear data structures cannot be implemented easily. In non-linear data structure, the data element can be attached to several other elements to represent specific relationships that exist among them. Due to the non-linear data structure, they might be difficult to implement. So linear data structures can be implemented very easily, but whereas non-linear data structures cannot be implemented easily. It is some difficult to maintain. So computers linear data structure compared to implementing linear data structures. Selecting one data structure type over the other should be done carefully by considering the relation among the data elements that need to be stored. So we are using one data structure that should be maintained, so and maintain the information when you need the data, when we need to store the data. Okay, so the data structure mainly is specified the following four things. So we have to organize the data. We are accessing methods, so sequential and random access we have to use, and degree of associativity and alternatives for information. So we are processing alternatively for information also by using the data structure. So the next one is the abstract data type. So what is abstract data type or ADT? So the collection of data and abstract methods to manipulate data. It is a collection of data and abstract methods. So when an application requires a specific kind of data which is not available as built-in data, so we have some built-in data like integer, float, double, character, but they are not available to. In that situation we are using ADT. So available as built-in data type when it is programmers responsible to implement his own kind of data, it is known as abstract data type. Abstract data type is a collection of data and operations to be performed on data. So what is ADT means? ADT is a collection of data. It is a collection of data and it contains the operations. ADT is independent of the implementation. So we are implementing the data structure by using C language or Java language. Whatever it is independent of the programming language. It is independent. So ADT is not dependent on any particular language. It is independent of all the languages. So ADT is independent of implementation, which means it is logical in nature. Abstract data type is required to define a structure which can be implemented independent of the programming language. It is independent of the programming language. It is not depend on any particular programming language. Okay, I hope you are understanding this. So it is independent of the programming language. So ADT consists of two parts. So ADT consists of two parts. So what are they? One is data part and operation part. For example, in the previous section, we are already discussed about stack. So stack contains two main operations. One is the push operation and next one is the pop operation. These two are the operations performed on stack, that is the operations here. Data, whatever data we are inserted into the stack, that is called data. So ADT consists of two parts. One is the data and the operation. Data holds the data which the structure holds, and operation is the set of methods that can be performed on data. For example, if you are inserting the data, so that is the data. If you are deleting the data, that is called data. Operations, what are the operations performed on stack? One is push operation and next one is the pop operation. So that is the two parts. One is the data and the next one is the operation. The data part in the ADT consists of index. So it contains the index values. So for example, I am using the stack. I am using the stack operation. So in the stack, we are maintaining in a linear manner. So from 0 to n-1. So the index defines the position. So 0 position, 1 position, 2nd position, 3rd position, where the values to be stored. No two index value pair cannot be same. No two index values cannot be same. The operations are performed on the data part. So data part contains the values. Okay, so it has two parts. One is the data part and next one is the operation part. So the representation of data structure. Okay, so one is the sequential representation and linked representation. These two are the two main representation of the data structure. Using array, all the data elements are located sequentially in the memory. Hence, arrays are suitable for this representation. So if you are maintain the data is in a sequential order, we preferred arrays. If you are not maintain the data in a sequential order, that is randomly managed, we can prefer linked representation. Okay, so data elements are placed randomly in the memory and all these are linked with help of pointers. So linked representation, linked list uses pointers concept here. So one node is connected to another node. So the address of second node is stored in first node that can be linked together by using linked representation or linked list. Okay. So now we are discuss about arrays. So what is the meaning of an array? So already you know an array is a variable that can store multiple values of same data type. For example, if you are using int array, all the location contains the integer values. If you are using float, all the location contains the float value. If you are using character, all location contains the character values. That is called the array. So all location having the same data type, that is called array. Where an ordinary values can store a single value at a time. So what is the difference between ordinary variable and an array? The ordinary variable consists of only single value. It consists of only single value, whereas array value contains the multiple values here. Okay, so one-dimensional array. An array having only one dimension, that is called one-dimensional array. an array in which a list of elements are stored in contiguous memory location are accessed only one subscript, only one dimension. So this is called one dimension, or one script is called the single dimensional array. So how to declare? Okay, how to declare? So type, data type, array name of size, or this representation type of array name. So we can represent both of these prototypes declarations. So where type is a data type of the array, array name is the name of the array. Remember, we don't not enter the size of the array in the declaration, so we are not mentioning. So dynamic creation is happened in this declaration. So creation memory location, after declaring an array we need not to create the memory. Java allows us to create arrays using new operator only. So in C, so if you are using int a of 5, so how many locations it declares? 5 locations will be occupied. So from 0 to n minus 1, that means 0 to 4. Here in Java, the memory is allocated using only new operator. Here new is the operator. So when you are using new operator, the memory is allocated to a particular memory. So array name is equal to new type of size. So array name is a is equal to new int of 5. So how many locations it occupies? 5 locations from 0 to 4. The two statements may be combined as follows: type array name is equal to new type of size. That means type, here type is the data type, array name of size is equal to new type of size. So int a of size is equal to new int of 5. That means the new operator allocates some memory, that means 5 locations of memory to this array variable. The total size of the array is 5 into 4. That means it contains the 5, the integer take 4 bytes, that is equal to 20 bytes. This is because the integer element require 4 bytes for storage. Okay. So how to initialize? So how to initialize one dimensional array? So we are using equal to sign. We are assigning the values separated by a comma. So assigning values to the array when it is declared is known as initialization. So type array name of is equal to list of values. So int a of is equal to 5826. That means in the 0th location it stores 5. In one location it stores 8. In second location that means the second index it stores 2. In the third index stores 6. In the above example, the 4 elements are stored in the array A. The array elements are stored in contiguous memory location. The array elements are read from 0 to a of 0 is assigned the value 5. In a of 1 it assigns the value 8. A of 2 it assigns the values 2. In a of 3 it assigns the values 6. Subscript of an array is integer expression, integer constant or integer value that refers the difference elements in the array. Here the subscript starts at 0. Okay, so you already know the subscript always starts from 0 to n minus 1. That means a of 0, a of 1, a of 2 and so on. Here the size is 5, our size is 4, so 0 to n minus 1. Okay, here we are storing 4 elements here. Okay, that means how many locations it forms? 4 locations are formed. Okay, next one, 2-dimensional. So what is the difference between 1 dimension and 2 dimension? In 1 dimension we are using only one subscript, that is called 1 dimension. In 2 dimension we are using 2 dimensions arrays, an array in which the list of elements are stored in some rows and columns and accessed using subscripts. So if you are storing the data is in tabular form or matrix form, okay, we go through 2-dimensional array, an array in which the list of elements are stored in some rows and columns and accessed using subscripts. So declaration of 2-dimensional array: type, that is data type, array name, first index represents the rows and second subscript represents the column. Where type is the data type of array elements, array name is the name of the array variable. Remember, we do not enter the size of the array in the declaration. So how to declare. Okay, so in the same way of one dimensional array we declare the two dimensional also, but in one dimensional we are using only one subscript, but whereas in two dimensional array we are using two subscripts here. Okay, type array name is equal to new data of row size and column size. First subscript indicates the rows and second subscript indicates the column. So int a is equal to new int of 5 comma 3. So how many rows? 5 rows. How many columns? 3 columns it forms. So with the help of new operator it allocates memory to the array. So here a, which can be hold 5 into 3, that is 15 integer elements. So here how many rows? 5 rows. How many columns? 5 columns. So the number of rows into number of columns, which gives the total number of integer elements, that is 15 integer elements can be stored. Okay, that means how many bytes it occupies. That means integer takes 4 bytes, that is 15 into 4, 60 bytes it occupies. Okay, so the two statements can be combined as follows. So data type array name or size is equal to new data row size and column size. So int a of is equal to new int of 5 comma 3. So we are using both this representation. The total size is 15. So 15 is the total number of integer elements. 4 is the size of the integer, that gives 16 bytes, which is because each integer elements require 4 bytes of storage. How can we initialize? So with the help of equal to operator we are assigning values. So example, so first row, first column, so that is 0th row and 0th column having 5 value. Here 0th row and first column having 8 value. So we are assigning the values directly to this two-dimensional array. So how can we enter the data with the help of the loops? So subscripts can also be reflected for loop that the array elements. So in one-dimensional array it contains only one subscript. So one for loop is necessary or needed to represent to enter the data into the one-dimensional array. But here there are two dimensionals, that is one subscript represents the rows and other subscript represents the columns. So the first for loop represents the rows and second for loop represents the columns. So I am taking I as rows and j as columns. So the row always starts from 0 and columns always starts from 0. Okay, 0 0. So I is equal to 0, I less than row size I plus plus. For j is equal to 0, j less than column size j plus plus. So we are printing the values. Okay, we are printing the values. So system.out.print println or print, so plus a of ij. So ij for 0 0 location it will be displayed first. After that 0 1 location, 0 2 location, like that. So for 2 rows 2 columns, 2 rows 2 columns. If you are entering the rows as 2 and columns as 2, so how many rows it will display? 4 rows are displayed, 2 rows 2 columns will be displayed on the screen. So this is the concept of arrays in Java. Thank you. So another one is pointers. So pointer is a variable, contains the address. We already know about pointers. So pointer is a different concept in C. Okay, so pointer contains the address of another variable. Okay, pointer contains the address of the another variable. So a variable can be declared as a pointer. That variable contains the address of the another variable. So here we know about what is the difference between star and the ampersand, and that means asterisk symbol and the ampersand can be known very clearly. Okay, all operations performed on pointers are through two operators, that is one is the star and the next one is the ampersand. Star is a unary operator that returns the memory address of the variable. So here ampersand represents the address of the variable, whereas asterisk symbol, that is it is a complement to, it is opposite to the ampersand. Okay, so the star represents the value in that memory location. Okay, so Star is a complement of ampersand and returns value stored in the memory location stored in the pointer. Star can interpreted as a statement at address, while ampersand can be interpreted as a statement address of. So star indicates the value and ampersand represents the address of. So how can we declare the pointer? So the pointer can be declared with the help of asterisk symbol. So any variable having star symbol, we call it as a pointer variable. So data type star name. So here it is a pointer name, so int star p. So here p is the pointer variable. Why? Because we are using asterisk symbol in front of the variable, we called it as a pointer. So what p contains? P contains the address of the another variable. Star p contains the value in that memory location. That is called the pointers concept. Okay, so linked list having the pointers concept here. Okay, so it has two parts. One is the data part and next one is the point address part. So the address of another variable can be stored in the pointers that can be linked to one and each other. So with the help of pointers we can link the data in linked list. Okay, so multiple pointers of similar data can be declared in one statement, but more make sure that you use before they are, otherwise will becomes the variable of type int star p, int star q. So here are the two variables, star p and the star q. So p is the pointer variable and q is the pointer variable. Okay, so how can we assign? So int star p, this is the pointer variable. Int x, this is the normal variable. That means the address of x is stored in p. Okay, the address of x, for example, the address of x is 1001. The 1001 is stored in p, that is p is equal to ampersand x. What star p contains? The address, the value of x, for example, is equal to 10 I am using. So that means the 10 is accessed by star p. Okay, the ampersand x contains the address, whereas the star p contains the value in that ampersand x. That is the pointers concept. Okay, I hope you are understood this concept. The value of one pointer can be assigned to another pointer using assignment operator equal to. In this value of right side of the point to memory address of the variable stored in left hand side of the pointer. So both pointers points to same memory location after this expression. That means the value of the address is stored in the pointer variable, that is p. Okay, p is equal to ampersand x. That means the address of x is stored in p. Okay, thank you.